So I picked this up a few months ago when we weren't on the air. And yeah, flip right fast. What do I see? Picture
what do you got?
This big white ass. It's my old band teacher. His name is Brayer Teague, as you can see there. Now, this is the cover of Downers Grove magazine we're looking at, which I was not aware was a thing. Downers Grove, of course, being my hometown where I grew up and moved back to later in life. This is a town in Illinois that we all know and love around here. And this man was the longtime band director at our local high school. I was a member of this program.
Yeah, you were in band.
I was. And let me tell you something. When I saw this, I had a visceral reaction because I don't like this guy. I never did. I have a bunch of reasons I'm going to list for you.
Sure.
But he, in my opinion, does not deserve to have some sort of grand walk-off. And I don't want him going into his golden years with this like sense of accomplishment, walking around town with
respect.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, like unearned respect.
So what this says here is Brayer Teague's storied career. Now, we're going to take a look at a couple of little excerpts from this, but I'm going to tell you guys a little bit about this guy. He is not a good teacher. Now, you know the old adage, those who can't do
teach.
Right. So he's a prime example of this. He would fancy himself as some sort of a drummer. He would once in a while get on a drum kit, this guy, and just look at him. You can tell by looking at him. He's one of those people that he just always looks uncoordinated and seems like he's barely hanging on, you know what I mean? And would get on there once in a while and play so like
Let's look at him, a close-up of him. There we go.
Yeah, there's a close-up of his face. So, you know, he would get on a drum kit once in a while, and you could just tell this guy's not a musician. He can't play. He was a cornball. He sucked, you know. So
yeah, just the basic dot do 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 dot, and then
Now,
I know the type.
They're going to talk a lot in this magazine about all his accomplishments in education. Can I tell you one thing he did not accomplish in his career was I don't think he ever actually educated anyone on music in any way. I think he spent all his time kind of on a PR campaign. And I think what he wanted was to end up as a director over at Northwestern or something like that.
Sure.
So he was building on paper the best, most impressive resume he could. And he was focusing on things like inclusivity. We want to have the largest marching band in the state, which I think this fucking idiot actually achieved. And here's the problem with that. It's 200 children outside walking around with instruments. Why would that be good? What, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So then he made it a fucking requirement. So if you wanted to play all I wanted to do was jazz. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I played
you jazzy.
Right, because I was bebopping around and I wanted a place that I could fit in. And so this guy, if you wanted to be in that, then you had to be in concert band. And if you had to be in concert band, you had to be in marching band. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
I'm not that much different now than I was then. Can you imagine
me in marching band
being forced to cheer for a football team, walking around like an idiot in an 1800s military uniform for some reason? I'm still doing that. And you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
With this asshole leading the way the entire time.
I mean, look at him.
All right, so that even says in here, here's a little taste of what we went through back then in this article. It says here, after each game, the football team would stick around to listen to the band play the alma mater, Teague explained. The team would raise their helmets. The band would say, get ready, we love our team. And the football players would parrot back, we love our band.
Oh, that's wholesome.
Do you know what this was like, dude? Oh,
no.
my God. I mean, now that was trauma alone. We'll get to some other things later. But just going through this guy, the other high school in our fucking town called Downers Grove, Illinois, the other high school was Downers Grove South High School. Their band director was like an actual jazz guy. He could play.
Oh, yeah?
He had gigged.
Oh.
He was a player. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now, their band and our band would do a combined concert once a year. And the last time
the other guys were way better.
Dude, it was like, I mean, this guy, it was around Christmas time. Fucking Teague here had us playing songs like, and I'm not shitting you, He literally had us play My Two Front Teeth.
Ooh.
They're doing Mingus, you know what I mean? They're doing all this cool shit. He has a and he's up there like this. It's a jazz, you know.
Jesus
it's like,
Christ.
dude.
Two front teeth.
Very good, dude. Okay,
High level shit.
I left that. The last time I did that, I was beside myself. I was literally weeping on the way home in embarrassment. My parents were trying to...
I actually believe that.
My parents were trying to tell me, no, you did good. You played a good solo and whatever, something. Dude, I was just like, we looked like assholes on stage. That's the worst feeling in the world. And this guy forced me to look like a fucking asshole in public over and over for my entire high school career till I finally quit because of him in fucking junior year, which in my family's a music family, generation after generation.
Yeah.
Do you know how crazy it is for me to quit band? My dad told me that when I was quitting, my dad said, a little piece of me is going to die with this decision. That's how serious band is at my house, you know?
My God.
Well, when I was a child.
Yeah. But I mean, it makes sense.
So
That's what
for
you were
me to
into.
hate this fucking program, this is what I'm telling you, okay? This guy would spend all of his time getting kids to... Like, you know, you've been playing trumpet for 7 years and you need a little more work on your major scales. These people who were never going to play, never going to do anything in music, and all the people that could actually play were completely ignored, basically, other than when they wanted us to win them awards at the Purdue Jazz Festival.
For sure.
When they wanted us to do that. I probably still have a few in a glass case that this idiot jerks off to, you know. But so when they wanted us to make them look good, then they'd send us out. Oh, look, we have a jazz combo. Cool. I haven't talked to him in 4 months, but here you go. So this guy, on top of all of that shit, he was way more concerned with getting involved in the social lives of the kids in band. And he had like a core group of like a Stasi network that would fucking tattle on everybody.
Oh, yeah.
They would spy. I'm not shitting you. Yep. They would spy. One time we were going on a trip, and me and my friend Jimmy Williamson, might as well just use real names, we were going to bring weed.
Of course.
Of course, right. And we were going to bring weed in a Game Boy. We had a whole fucking genius plan. You know what I mean? We were going to take it apart. We're going to fucking fit little things of weed in there and stuff and whatever. Yeah. So a bunch of joints. I don't know what our plan was. He fucking knew about it somehow. He fucking, dude. And it was like a tight-lipped operation too. Maybe somebody overheard us at lunch or something, or was fucking actively spying on us. I don't know. But he calls us in and goes, I know about your plan.
Let me see your Game Boy.
To bring your Game Boy, or bring weed in your Game Boy. And we were just like, we're like, what the fuck?
No, it wasn't.
No, yeah, of course. We're like, oh, I don't know, whatever. Yeah. But no, so stuff like that. He had all his little like minions and shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And what the hell was that? Some big banging sound. Is he here? But no. So
he just got shot outside.
So he had all that going on, and he would get, like I said, in my opinion, inappropriately involved with students.
Outside of the school.
In conversation only is really what I'm saying about him so far. And he's in like talking to people about their relationships, say. Or he said when he was getting divorced, he sat the whole fucking band down and told us for like 40 minutes while he cried about his divorce.
Oh, Jesus.
You know, so I'm like, I'm not shitting you, dude. I could go on and on about how weird this fucking guy was and how unpleasant it was. And so he also...
he looks like a pompous prick to me.
He's a pompous. He's a manipulative.
Yeah. That's what just looks.
Passive aggressive. He's the definition of passive aggressive. He would do stuff...
Oh, he looks... that's what I would actually guess, just based on appearance, honestly.
Another time he spied on me. I was
in
doing
the locker room.
It was a classic kid situation. I was doing impressions of him. And
can you do one now?
No, it's been a long time. But I was just probably referencing something that like, but our impression of him was basically like our equity characters from the other day. It was just very soft and so he found out that I'd been doing impressions of him. Had a fucking meeting with me in an office to tell me that I'd hurt his feelings. Okay, now that I'm an adult and I look back on all this, I go, what in the fuck was going on around this place?
Yeah.
You know, so I mean, he was like, whatever. So
all right, but he's getting his final farewell.
So he's getting his final farewell, and he's leaving as a lauded and celebrated educator. When I can tell you firsthand, he didn't educate shit. All he did was try to make himself look good, make this program, put this shine on it, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And it says here, and this is the only other thing I want to read from this article. Sure. They're talking to Glenn Williams, the recently retired fine arts chairman at Downers Grove South High School. Okay. Williams this might have been that guy I was talking about. Williams also highlighted Teague's advocacy for inclusivity in music education. Teague served on the Illinois Music Education Association's board for 12 years, and he moved to the association towards inclusive thinking, hosting panel discussions on diversity and equity well before others were thinking about those things. Now I'm like, that's real fucking easy to do at a 98% white school. You know what I mean? And like, this is what I'm talking about. This whole article is like this. What did he do? What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Did they not let black people in the band before he got there? What does this mean? Any of this?
It's just a bunch of smoke blowing and fucking self-congratulatory bullshit.
I'll tell you what it means. He had a bunch of people in a band that couldn't play fucking music. Okay. And the program was fucking terrible. They're included, though. That's what's important. We sounded like fucking assholes, like I said, everywhere we went. And we went all over. And just made fools of ourselves. Over and over, because this guy needed everybody to be a part of it. Which is crazy.
It's insane.
Okay. So
now, somebody in the chat says Teague had a very creepy network of spies when I was there, too. So this is some confirmation that he was employing student spies.
Oh, dude.
And a network of students.
Everybody knows this. That was there, yeah.
That was, yeah.
So now, that sets the scene. So now I ask, what the hell was really going on around that place?
Okay.
Well, let's pull up that first article.
Sure.
Now, most people who are familiar at all with this situation, again, talking about this guy who's trying to ride off into the sunset and walk his dog around Denburn Woods, Brayer. Yes, I know a lot about you. And you know what else? I know a lot about what went on around that school with some of your close colleagues. I've talked to a lot of the people involved. I've got all kinds of things that I don't know if I can say, but I know about you. And Brayer, if you see this, this is your worst nightmare. You remember me? This is your worst nightmare coming true right now. You are not going to live your golden years as a celebrated member of this community. I will make sure of it. Okay, so
first article up. What do we got?
This is his right-hand man, close friend and colleague for the vast majority of his career as a teacher, William Miller, who has been accused by female after female after female student that they presided over of having sexual relationships with, underage or high school students, right?
Yeah.
Now, he's not been charged criminally. I don't fucking know why. Depending on who you talk to, the cops can't or won't pursue it, and some of it is
very weird. Always,
some of it is because none of this came to light. I will tell you right now, I'm not afraid of saying this. I don't think. I knew that he was having sexual relationships with students while I was a student. And
this guy, this Bill Miller,
right, who was Teague's hand-picked fucking right-hand guy, right?
Yeah.
So I knew.
And let me just say, you don't work closely with somebody for that many years without knowing what they're up to.
It's hard. It's hard to believe.
Very
right?
hard to imagine.
Yeah.
This is the Penn State thing with Sandusky, and
we got a mini Penn State situation right down the road from Radioville here, and I don't like it.
Yeah.
And so
and we're exposing it.
And this guy, this is what it just makes me fucking sick to see this. Here, look at his wonderful. Look at all the stuff he did. Oh my god. Oh yeah. Okay. Well, how about this? So, I know for a. Can I say it? I don't know. I knew. I knew.
Be careful.
I knew about this stuff when I went there, and I knew personally, and was for a short time close to one of the people that would swear to God that her truth is she had a sexual relationship. How about that?
Yeah.
With Bill Miller. It happened. I don't know how many there are at this point, but it was as though every couple of years he found a new person to pick up with and have this same pretty much ploy. Now, here's the thing about this. I know about, it's the legal thing of like, what can you say? What can you know? I know these people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You know them personally.
I've talked to more than one. I won't even say exactly how many, but Brayer, again, if you're watching, I've talked to the victims. And any victim of this guy is a victim of yours.
Yes.
In my opinion.
Yeah.
Because how in the fuck?
No.
I mean, okay, so let's go a little bit further here, and let's take a look, and we're going to want the phones on at some point here, too, because I know somebody's going to want to call in about this, but
okay.
So that's Bill Miller, right? You guys can find out as much as you want about him. He's got all kinds of dirt. He's been up to his fucking neck in underage sexual relationships for the better part of 2 decades. And so his good buddy is this guy. This next guy, Hank Vaughn. Now, all I can really tell you guys is I know this town. I know these people. They're good friends. You're going to have to take my word for it. I do know that.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. So what's up with Hank Vaughn?
This guy taught at the next town over. Same fucking thing. Same allegations of a relationship with a student. Right. Same exact thing. So now there's the next guy. So anyways, we could dwell on any one of these points forever, but this is just to keep this moving. This is his good friend, again, accused of sexual relationships with students one town over at his school.
He's friends with both of those other guys, Teague and Miller.
I don't know if he's close with Teague.
Okay, but he was definitely friends with Miller, the accused.
Very, very good friends.
Okay.
Yes.
And then Hank Vaughn was also embroiled in a student sex scandal then?
Yes, and we're starting to see something that resembles what I might call
a club
or a network, right?
Network.
It's weird because I don't know, me or you have never been accused of anything even remotely similar to that. Now, we get accused of some crazy shit sometimes, but nothing, you know what I mean? Yeah. It's not just, does this just happen? Did this just, what? Really?
Yeah, no.
Both of you? Okay, so now, here's another guy that worked with both of these guys, with Miller and Teague as a student teacher. Let's take a look, because the way you get a picture of this guy is by going on the sex offender website for Villa Park, Illinois, and there he is, Eric Damitz, which is, I imagine, kind of what he said when he got caught. Yeah. All right. So, anyways,
so who's this guy?
He was a student teacher with Teague and Miller.
Okay.
And was, I believe, caught having a sexual relationship with a male student at the school. So, there we go. More and more, right? Now I got one more because, Mr. Teague, I'm talking to people that know the situation. And like I said, this is very bad for you. This is really, really bad. And you should not feel comfortable sitting there in Denburn Woods with your stupid fucking dog. By the way, one of the nicest neighborhoods ever. Frank Lloyd Wright houses and totally. Shit this asshole gets to live in. So, okay. I have a text here. Sorry. Justin Hubley, who was in choir but was taught by Bill for a few classes, and was friendly with him. Bill Miller. Justin went on to be a choir director in Crystal Lake and was recently fired for having parties with underage students, giving them booze, and assaulting them. Like I said,
Jesus Christ.
Bill Miller is at the epicenter of what has become a web of abusers, and that's what this person who's been
so basically, sexually abusive music teachers or just high school teachers.
Now I also talked to someone today who has told me that, in their studies, they're finding that band directors as a whole, nationwide, are way disproportionately responsible for sexual abuse of their students.
Really?
Yes. So the number one is coaches.
Makes sense.
But it's like a statistical thing. There's just a lot less band directors, and they're number two, I think. So, but proportionately, they're way more likely than any other type of teacher, is what I was told today. Interesting, isn't it?
Very interesting indeed.
So this is the legacy I see when I see this guy, Brayer Teague, and we can put him back up. And, you know, I'm gonna go over a couple of other points here that I was asked to kind of bring up. DGN had many culture problems, including hero worship of the directors, the pitting students against students thing, smoke and mirrors of the, you know, the quality of the education. they create safety nets for themselves. They build their reputation to be untouchable. This is done very intentionally and protects them when allegations come out. Employees of school districts are trained to protect the school district. 9 times out of 10, this is more important than what's best for the kids. And I'm just, again, reading some things that I was asked to bring up. But then unofficially, people in Downers Grove are not informed about the extent of the crimes committed at that school. And I think that's also an important point, is I think the public perception is that this guy is as much of a victim as anybody because he had, I
fucking love that shit.
What a blemish on his otherwise wonderful career.
How could he have had any idea what was going on with his friend and colleague for fucking 10 years while he's banging students? Mm-hmm. How would he have any? And then, poor him, because he was such a great person. And this is one thing, this is obviously, not true across the board, but I always get the feeling that a lot of these people that are manipulating vulnerable people behind the scenes really lean into that whole like equity. Like it always seems like it's not always, because it's like, but a lot of it's like they're so focused on that as their personal, the public persona, and it always seems to be like this camouflage.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, look at this. Because it is hard to then condemn him.
It's a public presentation that hides a deeper darkness or something.
Yeah, like think about that guy that wrote that, the little shining, the little glowing review of him in there. Like, he was so integral to fucking, the inclusion and equity and diversity, blah, blah, blah. Well, now if is that guy going to have to go back and be like, shit, I guess he was banging kids. You know what I mean? It's really hard to walk that back.
Make sure we're not saying that Teague was.
No, I don't know if he was, but I'm saying if in a hypothetical,
right.
when you're fucking fawning over somebody like this publicly, and then something happens, it's more difficult to walk that back. You're way more apt to just shut up.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? And then just be like, shit, I already said that stuff. So it is always like this public persona that the people like this put forward is always this like sort of untouchable. You know what I'm saying?
And another way that that was kind of one of the points that my anonymous texter, who again is close to the situation, and I just want him to think about that if he sees it. I'm talking to the people.
Yeah,
we're working on it.
Yeah,
this is your golden
legacy, baby.
Your legacy is done. It's over. It's gonna be done. Trust me. If I have to write a fucking book, I'll do it. Okay.
Yeah.
So
he won't, but.
I'm gonna try.
AI will write a book for him. He'll tell him what to do.
Right. Someone will write a book. Okay. So, anyways, look, let's keep moving on that point and if you could open the phones too.
Yes.
And I believe I had somebody else that kind of wanted to weigh in on this, because another way that they sort of protect themselves and they sort of create, because I was there, I saw Bill Miller. Have a relationship argument with a girl who was like a junior, right? But you know what I mean by that? It was you could just tell by seeing
the dynamics.
Them
you can fucking tell if somebody's romantically involved by the way they argue.
She runs down the hallway crying. I say to some of the older kids, now
older, we're talking about 16, 17.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
This is not old. This is not like an adult.
Right. And I'm 14. Yeah. And I say to some of the older kids, what the hell was that? And they're like, they have like an intense relationship or something. And they talked around it a little bit. I understood what was going on. And I also understood there's something very weird that adults can do to kids where you just pick up on the idea that like, this is a secret. I don't want to be the one to blow it.
I'm not supposed to be,
You know what I mean? And you kind of want to be in on the club and feel cool and be part of things, and you don't,
Absolutely.
you don't want, so that's kind of part of the trick of it is they make you feel like you're their friend. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I was saying, they get, in my opinion, too involved socially with the people, but I am starting to think that was by design.
Absolutely.
And it's to keep you from wanting to speak out about anything that you know. And so we have on the line, I'm assuming this is my sister, Andrea. Is that right?
I believe so.
It is.
Hello, Andrea.
Yeah, what do you think? Am I leaving anything out here?
No, actually, you were just getting to what I wanted to bring up, which was this weird thing about them wanting to be friends and they tried to create this atmosphere of like everyone was grown-ups.
Yeah.
And in high school, when people treat you like a grown-up, it feels fucking awesome.
Oh yeah,
Sure.
Yeah.
It is so powerful, and they knew that. I don't know when the last time either one of you spoke to a teenager was, but like they're children.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
I work with teenagers. I work with 17 and 18-year-olds, and even they're children.
Sure.
And I remember the first time I ever heard a teacher swear was in that band program, and I remember feeling like, wow.
Like you're an adult. Like, oh God, it's almost like they make you feel like you're sitting at the adult table at Thanksgiving or something like that. Like you've crossed the threshold into like, oh God, I'm grown up. And that's all you want at that age.
Yeah.
You're in this weird place where all you want to be is grown up at that point.
Yeah.
And
so I went through the band program for 4 years there. I had this pair of teachers. I had Miller and Teague for 4 years at Downers North. And when I was 14, I remember being really impressed and being like, wow, they're so involved. This makes me feel so like I'm part of something important, and I want to be loyal to it, and I want to do what's honorable and what the people expect of me.
Yeah.
And they know that that's what they're doing. They 100% know that that's what they're doing. I would not accept anything.
No, it would have to be
that they know what they're doing.
Yeah. Well, for all these pieces and all these people to fit into the scenario that Vinny's already outlined, the level of coincidence would have to be. I mean, the numbers.
I mean, yeah. Come on.
It's just that's where you start getting Occam's razor-ish, where it's like, well, obviously something the fuck was going on here, and these people knew each other and they knew what each other were into.
So you know what? I don't want to actually like go without saying anything about this. I'll just say this. Me and Andrea have been told that there does exist 100% documentation of his knowledge of this in around many years ago. So
Teagues.
I lived the experience.
Yeah.
I know in real time while it was happening, I knew of Miller facing disciplinary action for an inappropriate relationship. I knew of a meeting that occurred with Maria Ward, was the principal at the time, and I knew of a meeting that occurred with her and one of the victims and the victim's mother, wherein the victim was told, if you pursue anything about this, you're the one who's going to be in trouble.
Okay.
Yeah, see,
and I
classic.
also knew at a time when a third party who I was friends with found out about what was happening. She was the only person who had the good sense to try and tell somebody. And she went to her disciplinary dean and told them what was going on and what she heard. And that dean said, you better not tell anyone else about this. And I know your sister is a teacher in this district, and it would be a shame if something happened to her career because you're running your mouth.
Yeah. So
it's so weird.
This is what I've seen from this school, whatever administration and district and whoever.
Yeah.
There is very little public acknowledgement of any of this, and they don't want it to go any further. It's been rather successfully kept out of the press. That's really the main reason I'm doing this, is nobody else is fucking talking about this.
Yeah.
And it's craziness, dude. And so there's like a classic fucking good old boy boss hog corruption kind of shit going on around sexual abuse of children in our hometown.
Yeah.
What in the fuck?
Yeah, what is happening? Yeah.
Bill Miller was allowed to retire. He was asked to forfeit his Illinois teaching license. However, he does not need a teaching license to teach at a private school, and he doesn't need it to teach in any other state. He can just go to Indiana and get a teaching license or wherever. And furthermore, he now goes by his middle name. If you are looking for him now, or if you want to keep an eye out from him, his name will be W. Scott Miller.
Oh.
Yeah.
He bumped it up a notch.
Like I said, I work with teenagers, many of whom go to our old high school, Downers North, and the consensus among the students, a lot of whom were there when all of this happened, they consider Miller to be guilty. Like, that's just, even the students that go there now are like, oh, that guy who did the thing.
And we know he's guilty because we were there. And
I know he's guilty. I know 100% that he's guilty.
Andrea,
there's no question in my mind. I've seen it with my eyeball.
Can you talk about what you've seen with your own eyes?
I don't want to.
Give us a little something. You know what I
No,
want.
I had a friend in high school who I was close with who was one of the victims, and she shared with me some emails in which they were exchanging flirtatious whatever. And he sent nude pictures. He sent pictures of his fucking disgusting old man dick.
Oh.
He was like 28.
Yeah, settle down.
But no, so
Whatever. In my mind, it still belongs to an old man.
I know.
yeah, so so this is how far this went. And
No, yeah, well, that's criminal.
yes,
That's 100% criminal, right?
of course, and he, not only the people
That's nothing. That's the only thing that I know that
That's
I
what I mean.
experienced firsthand.
But that's out there, and it's concrete, and it's
But
criminal.
compared to what he's been accused of, it's
that's
it's a drop in the bucket.
yeah.
Yeah, but also the hubris. It's just such a fucking it's to me. It's there's another aspect of all of this. Anytime you see some of this, and obviously at the higher echelons of power, elite power and stuff, it's even way more pronounced. But it's always this weird disregard, I'm untouchable kind of a fucking attitude. How would you do that? Why would you leave photographic evidence in a fucking child's email? You know what I'm saying? That's such a odd, if just from because you and I have done many a criminal enterprise.
Yeah, sure.
You make every effort to cover your tracks. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, you
do
gotta be
everything.
careful.
I mean,
Yeah.
I remember going as far as to
No,
not
I think
deliver.
that's part of it.
That's what I'm saying.
Like
It's almost
I
like
think that part of it
they get
is,
off on
feeling
that.
the power.
Yes, that's what I mean. Is
Yeah.
it's not if you're actually trying to get away with something, you fucking get away with it. You don't leave breadcrumbs and fucking dick pics.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That is always an odd aspect of this. Is like this power. Thirst for power kind of a thing, and this hubris of feeling untouchable, and yeah, it's just and
Well, the problem is that he learned that he was untouchable because he had been caught and was
Yeah.
allowed to just keep going.
Yeah.
So
He
this is
was
another thing.
untouchable in a lot of ways.
This is another thing we had inside information about. The school knew, he knew. I mean, I've been adding kind of a level of mystery to it, but I don't see the point of that anymore. We know he knows. We know he knew. The school knew. Nobody did anything. You
Yeah.
know?
Well, and also, I feel like you failed to mention that not only was Teague Miller's and Hank Vaughn was a student teacher there. The guy from Westmont was the student teacher while I was there in marching band.
Oh, okay.
And not only were
trifecta,
they
yeah.
colleagues, but Teague was the department head. He was not just their coworker; he was their boss. It
Yeah.
was his job to know, and he was
Yeah.
more culpable than just a normal colleague because he was their superior, and he was in the position to protect children from him, and he didn't. And then when given the opportunity to say, hey, we had to get rid of this guy because we want to protect you, instead he said nothing and just fucking floated out the rest of his days, and now he wants to retire in quiet.
So these are
This doesn't even sound like quiet. This seems like he's getting lauded. Over.
Yeah. Oh, he's
this seems like he's getting really sent off as a fucking hero of some sort.
he's like a local celebrity,
Yeah.
And so
Ugh.
these are the
And
guys.
I just, on a personal level, the man is just such a fucking dink. There is nothing about him that is cool or fun or funny. He chose
awful.
a career with high school students because that was the highest level of intellect that he could impress.
Yeah. That's
And that's another thing is a lot of these people. That's why they target people like this because they don't have the wherewithal and the chops to fucking impress actual adults.
So he
with
is
anything.
he is a person that I was just thinking about this. Like you cannot, if you knew this guy, you could not picture him in the adult world. It doesn't work. His routine
No.
doesn't work. His fucking and this is the other thing. These guys. That we've just described to you for the past 30 minutes or so,
Yeah.
and told you all this about. These guys are the ones when I was a teenager that were admonishing me, condescending me, and lecturing me every time I fucking turned around about something I was doing because I smoked weed after school. You fucking assholes.
Yeah.
Because
And then on their spare time, they were banging students.
Well,
Some of them,
at
maybe.
least, yeah,
we
at
don't
least
know
Bill.
exactly.
Do you
what's
want to
happening,
hear
but-
something truly pitiful?
Yes.
Is that when I was in high school, one of my friends who had a personal relationship with Miller told me that he told her that he just wanted me to think he was cool. Can you imagine?
oh my god.
wanting a 16-year-old to think that you're cool. How fucking sick do you have to be?
Somebody else.
Not just to feel that, but to feel it enough that you express it out loud to somebody.
Yeah, it's pathetic. I mean, but again,
it's pathetic.
I don't think you would be in the position that he finds himself in if you weren't a pathetic
I
wretch
would
of a
never
fucking
put
human.
myself in a room with teenagers if it was up to me. Not in a million billion years would I do that.
Yeah, there's something wrong with you if you do this. Actually,
It's creepy.
Every teacher is creepy. Actually, now that I think about it,
Yeah, stop interacting. Have kids
Yeah.
teach kids. That's the answer.
right.
They'll
But
all
so,
remain idiots.
all right, we've been on this a while, so we're gonna keep moving. And thanks for everybody for putting up with this. This is my hometown. I care about this, and you know, I
As
don't,
you
I don't,
should.
like I said, I do not want this guy on again. I'll just because I want to make this. This is going to be on YouTube. When I'm talking to him, I don't actually think he's watching, so you guys know. But I'm putting it on YouTube. I'm making it visible. This guy is going to search for his own name, or somebody's going to send it to him, or I don't know how it's going to happen. He's going to see this, and so that's why I'll talk to you, Brayer Teague. Again, your legacy is over. This is not happening. You're not doing
Yeah.
this. You're not doing this. You're not
Yes.
gonna get away with it.
You know what?
And
Let's give him a little flash of what we got with the. We're gonna go Patriot on him.
yeah, this is what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
This is what you're gonna see coming
We're
down
going
the
straight
street.
Patriot. No,
No,
we're gonna go
where's the
this
other one?
Yeah,
That's us.
We're
This
going
is
this one, baby.
This is
hey,
who's
Teague.
this is who's coming after you. Okay.
Yeah.
Former student Vinny, who you fucking basically made so goddamn miserable that I couldn't even stand to play music, which I fucking love. And if I had ever listened to you, I would have stopped playing music forever. If I would have ever listened to you, it would have made music such an unpleasant thing to partake of that I would have had a much different life. I'm very glad. I thought you were a fucking asshole then and a moron with zero taste or talent, and I still do. And in here, it says that you decided to teach before you actually thought of yourself as a musician. When did you think of yourself as a musician? When was that? Because I never did. No one did. You know who was a musician? My dad. He saw you play drums. We laughed our fucking asses off the whole way home.
Did he really?
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah. We went and saw him, and it was just fucking hilarious. I mean, he was ding, you know, fucking just cornball everything. But he played a fill that I swear to God was like, you know, his big moment was just like boop boop doop boop 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 boop.
Ooh,
And you know what I mean?
like a 1980s drum machine.
Not
Like,
even that. I don't.
yeah,
I
baby.
don't think it was even that cool. But yeah, I just remember me and my dad just having a giant roast session the whole way home. My
Yeah.
dad was a real musician. He traveled the country playing music. He did it for decades and decades. He worked in studios. He hated this guy and made fun of him all the time. Could not fucking stand him. Anybody who was a real musician could not fucking stand this guy. And that will be your legacy when I am done. So
There we
anyways,
go, folks. Fuck you.
Yeah.
Not you guys. Fuck this guy.
Well, yeah.
Fuck all his friends. Thank you for the call, Andrea.
Yeah, Andrea, final word on this while we switch over to
No,
something
I
else?
think you nailed it.
Okay, cool.
Boom. Nailed.
So
All
welcome
right.
back. Good to have Radioville back in my life.
All right, good to hear from you.
Yes, very good.
Good
All right.
goodbye.
Okay,
Goodbye,
goodbye.
miss. All right, now let's get to some of these.
Ah, that felt good.
Yeah, I know. I could tell you
Well,
like that.
dude, I mean, this like I said, not to beat a dead horse, but just when I saw this magazine, I was like, you're not fucking no.
Yeah.
I just have so much in the chamber about him because he made me so like I said, just his whole being is just so offensive to me.
Yeah.
You know, it just is ridiculous.
Yeah,
So-
it's personal.
Yes,
It's a
right.
personal thing too, and
He's an asshole from his fucking stupid oval-shaped body to his dumbass fucking his
all the way down to his stupid drum fills.
right.
Everything about
and this is another thing. He always had a real cheap watch on, digital
Ooh.
watch and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
I mean, a teacher's salary. pal.
Shitty Walmart glasses. Whatever. It's just
Fuck him.
Yeah, zero style, zero. Like Andrea said, nothing good about him. Nothing. Not funny. Not smart. A complete dud in every way, and just found this fucking, this Svengali routine he could do in a rich community
I
where nobody knows what the hell's going on.
Somehow, because they're all too busy with their career.
It's like a rich
But the
town. They
parents
don't fucking know
care.
about
They're like,
music.
yeah,
Right.
Yeah, I heard he's at band.
Yeah,
Junior's
whatever.
at band. Whatever.
Okay,
He's out of
you
my
got a
hair.
band concert, huh?
Yeah.
All right.
So let me just address some of these. Tony Johnson said, sounds like he wanted to be a priest at a Catholic grade school. Brian said, the auto instructors at TCD let us go with swearing and smoking and joking like we were friends, but I think they weren't trying to bang us.
No, those are just stoners. Yeah.
Yeah. JT says, who's on the line right now? She's awesome. That was Andrea. That was Vinny's sister.
Yeah.
Connie says, yes, Teague, you're even less cool the older you get, loser. And tell us what you really think, Vinny. He's a total dud. I remember that time in Ireland. Ha ha, Jimbo Williamson.
Oh, hey, Jimmy.
Hey.
Oh, yeah, you know what? I'm glad he's here because I keep forgetting to call you back, and I told you I would, and I've been really fucking busy. I forgot to call him back for like 4 weeks.
All right.
I'll try to call you tomorrow, Jimmy. All right, so